Hello, I'm Clare and I'm here to talk to you today about my range of fabric called Nocturne, which is made by Moda Fabrics. And I thought I'd tell you a bit about the design process. Moda's an American company, so I could have sent digital files in, but I actually send them original paintings, and the paintings all come about through my sketchbook. I keep a sketchbook for every project I do, and it's an invaluable resource for me. I've got lots and lots of ideas in there. I'll pick it up and show you a few pages. Here you go. I do lots of sketching, lots of painting, lots of doodling. I don't edit myself at this stage. It's just ideas, and I try not to say no. So if I've got an idea, but I don't know how it's going to translate into a design or if it's going to repeat, I don't worry. It goes in the sketchbook anyway. So you can see my ideas formulating as they go through. And the colour palette's quite tight all the way through. I have an idea of the colour palette quite early. Lots of little sketches and doodles, and then I will start working them up into repeat and start thinking about how they would translate to a fabric collection. So I've got a range of styles and a range of prints and scales of prints, so that you can have a big blousey showstopper print and then the little detail sketches that go with it to complement it. So you can see me working through some ideas here. The selvage on the fabric is always designed by the designer as well, which I didn't realise until I started the process. But my son, my 14-year-old son Joseph, he drew a UFO in this sketchbook somewhere, which I won't be able to find for you now, I shouldn't think. But he drew a UFO, and when it came to turning in my designs to Moda, I sent in the UFO as well, and they've printed it on the selvage of the fabric as the colour registration dot. So it's a nice little thing for you to look at, and I know people collect their selvages. So there you go. So this is my idea. So this is really, really precious resource to me, and every quilt that I design and every time I revisit this collection, the ideas go in my sketchbook. So that's absolutely vital part of the process. Now Moda like you to turn in original paintings and drawings. You can send them in digitally, but because I'm more comfortable with paint and pen, I actually send them original paintings all the time. So I've got my originals with me, you can see. This one is ink splatters and paint splatters, and sometimes the designs you turn in really change when they become fabric, but the Nocturne designs are really, really close to how I imagined them, which is really lovely. The fabric is exactly how I wanted it to be. Here we are. This one is the moon cycles, and I literally painted stickers. So very, very simple process, a way of getting your ideas over. Here we are. And these are galaxies, the constellations, tight colour palette, and I'll show you the fabric in a minute, and you can see how closely they relate to my sketches. Yeah. And I give it ideas for colourways. I tend to work with a very tight colour palette. They like you to do that, and my colour palette tends to be this indigo ink, and I can add in a few splashes of colour. I've got really rich royal blue with this collection, which I was really happy with. This one's called Data. This was inspired by the binary code of the computers that went up to the moon on the Apollo missions. This one is the atmosphere. It's like all of our atmosphere, and this is the first fabric I will show you. You can see how closely it relates to the design that I handed in. See, very, very close. So it's really lovely that they pay so much attention to the colour palette. So this fabric is available in the UK now. It's in all your favourite quilt shops, hopefully, and it's a range of creams and the lovely royal blue and greys, some greys, and of course my lovely indigo. It's my favourite indigo colours. Very versatile, good for the gentleman in your life who needs a quilt as well, little boys. Nocturne is a love song to the night, and it was inspired by my dad and his amateur astronomy, and us spending a long time in the garden trying to see the moon and Saturn and all sorts of things on cloudy nights with the boys in the back garden going in for hot chocolate. So it's a very personal collection, and I like my designs to have a story for me. I know they don't need a story for everybody, but for me as the designer, I like them to have a story, and they mean a lot to me when I've worked through them. So here you are. Okay, so I have some quilts made up in the fabric, which I'd like to show you. The one on the table is called Midnight. and it's a beautiful design, if I do say so myself, and it looks more difficult than it is. It's actually squares and half square triangles, so it's very easy to put together. It only looks daunting because you can't see a repeat, but it's very, very simple to piece. And there is the pattern for that available, and it will be on the Justhands-on.tv website for you. It's called Bright Above Me. And then the pattern behind me is called Midnight. This is made with jelly rolls. It's jelly roll friendly. You can use scraps obviously that you have, but it's jelly roll friendly. And all of my patterns give you the instructions to use every scrap of fabric. So the background is pieced as well. The backing fabric is pieced from your scraps. So there's no waste at all. So a couple of jelly rolls and some yardage and you will make the whole quilt behind me. Here it is. Very simple log cabin construction. There you go. And I have a little kit as well that I made, which uses the little squares, the 2.5-inch squares, the little candies that you can pick up as a little treat. And this uses one whole pack of them, and very easy fusible applique to make the planets, and then lots of hand quilting and hand embroidery to bring it to life, bring the background to life. And we have a little kit available for that as well, which includes everything but the thread and the card for mounting on, and that will be available for you as well.